kind of want that music to just follow me around everywhere now. Like everywhere I walk, I need somebody behind me with a boombox, and like that's my theme.
Does it just pump you up now?
Yeah,
like,
pumps me up. Like I can't get excited anymore unless I hear that music. Hello, everyone. This is DT Daily. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday, and we are live here, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, live from our Portland, Oregon studio. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining, and since I did say we're live, I want to emphasize that again. We're live on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and Facebook, which means we can take your comments, your questions, whatever you want to talk about today, drop it in there. We will address it. And here's what's on tap today. It's a pretty damn exciting show, if I don't say so myself. And coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to be talking to Kim Wetzel. Kim has the actual Facebook portal, the Facebook actual device that everybody's been talking about. It's been shipped out. She's got one. We're going to have it here in studio. She's going to kind of go over what it does, whether it's creepy or not, whether it actually works, whether it's exciting. We're going to find out, and you can ask your questions, drop your comments as we go through. Then later on, we're going to have Matt Smith, our computing editor, is going to join us, along with Murray Tom, the director of software and cloud services for D-Wave, to talk about quantum computing. What is quantum computing? How is it going to help us? Where is it going to go? What kind of advantages can we get from quantum computing? We're going to walk through all of it. We're going to do it from a base level because that's where I have to start when it comes to quantum computing. So I'm with you on that. I'm sure you probably know more than me, but drop your comments and questions in. We'll get to those as well. But first, we are here with our opening segment with Mr. Drew Prindle. Hello, Drew.
How's it going?
Doing well. Our headlines today are like perfectly tailored for you.
Oh, absolutely. They looked great. I'm excited for it.
So Drew is our emerging technology editor?
Yes.
Okay. Is it technology or technologies?
Technologies.
Okay, so you screwed it up already.
I don't know.
It's all the technologies. All of the emerging technologies Drew covers, and which is perfectly appropriate for our first headline segment that we want to get to today to start the show off. And it has to do with none other than Mr. Elon Musk and SpaceX. So the news today, I believe it came out yesterday, but the big news is this. SpaceX, in case you didn't know, has had plans to launch global internet satellites for quite some time. They've been working on this. They call it Starlink. And if that's not more of a DC superhero thing, I don't know what it is, Legion of Doom, Starlink. But what the plan is to launch satellites basically encompassing the globe so that you can get broadband speeds, internet, wherever you are, wherever you go. And so what happened is they already had a plan for 4,400 satellites that were going to go up. This new thing, this new plan that was just approved by the FCC, lets them launch another 7,500 satellites. So basically, we're looking at almost 12,000 satellites. We've got a video here kind of showcasing this was a simulation that a scientist came up with from University College of London that basically showed how this would look, although I have to say, this simulation was just for the 4,400 satellites. Now imagine more than almost 3 times, or almost double more. What would that be? Yeah, like another 8,000 satellites almost on top of that. So basically 12,000 satellites are going to encircle the globe to bring this broadband internet access across the entire globe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's nuts.
Sorry, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm realizing like this is something out of complete science fiction.
I mean, just to put that in perspective, I think there are fewer than 1,500 satellites currently like orbiting the Earth. I could be wrong on that, but there's not, like, this number that Elon Musk has posted is just insane. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe, I mean, I will say though, like, just with, he has the means to do it, like the reusable rockets, the pace at which they've been launching rockets. I think over the next 6 years, they probably can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them, but there actually is a requirement from the FCC that they need to put at least 50% of those satellites that they've been approved for in the air. So expect a lot more launches from SpaceX just launching their own stuff into space. Thus far, they've been doing it, they've been acting as a service for people that want their things in space, but pretty soon SpaceX is just going to be sending their own satellites up. Yeah,
which is smart, actually. They've been testing this out on somebody else's time.
Yeah.
Now that I think about that, another brilliant move from Elon Musk. But yeah, so once this goes up, and this is something, they've made this no secret. So the way it'll work, you have the 4,400 satellites that I believe will probably be the ones that go up first, at least according to this plan. Those ones will be higher in the stratosphere or higher. They'll be at a higher orbit.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm not screwing up the terminology on here, but they'll be in a higher orbit, and then from there, the 7,700 will be a lower flying to actually fill in the coverage everywhere. And the way it works is essentially you're on the ground. It goes through a broadband link and then beams up to the satellite, I believe is how it would work, and then beams directly back down to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then covering the entire globe.
Yeah, so we already have satellite internet. I mean, like, you guys have probably heard of like HughesNet and stuff like that. The thing is, that only uses maybe like 2 or 3 satellites to serve a bunch of people. So it's kind of limited in its area of coverage and like how much speed it gets from it. So something like what Elon Musk is proposing would blanket the Earth in like really high speed internet. There would be very little latency. And it would be in every corner of the globe. It wouldn't be limited to just like 1 or 2 different continents.
Which is just, I mean, the idea of that is actually pretty great, because if you think about how many countries, how many parts of the globe are underserved and don't have internet access. I mean, this is life-changing, possibly life-saving technology that's coming to them.
The interesting thing to me is they're kind of in a race against other people. Like, Facebook is trying to serve internet to underserved parts of the globe, but they're doing it in a different way. They want to use like solar-powered drones that just stay in the air and like the low atmosphere indefinitely. Google Project Loon is doing something similar, but with like balloons that float in the sky. So everybody's trying to cover the world in internet, but I'd say Elon Musk probably has the most ambitious plan.
Yeah, and it says they're going to invest about $10 billion to build and launch it, which actually is quite honestly cheaper than I thought it would be.
Yeah, over the course of like 9 years, I think that's when they have the deadline to finish it, is 9 years to get all of those satellites in the air. I mean, $10 billion over the course of 9 years, it doesn't seem huge compared to some other things.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about how much money they're going to be able to make, even if, because he did say that they want it to be relatively, inexpensive or at least on par with internet service now. But when you're talking about a global, I mean, he's going to control global internet, essentially. And he did say that he wants to be able to he wants this project to run about 50% of the global internet. I mean, that's a lot in one person's hands. I mean, I know it's a company, and there's a lot of people involved in this, but still, I mean, that's why I brought up the DC thing, the Legion of Doom thing. It's like, I will control your internet. I see him picturing over a globe. But I mean, it's also a really great thing. For
it would be cool, but time will tell. Elon's pretty good at making big promises and not always delivering on them, at least not on time.
True.
So, I'm going to wait to believe this one until it actually happens.
Yeah. But the fact that he got the FCC approval,
that's a huge step.
And part of it, too, part of the approval process was, because this is obviously a big thing a lot of people have talked about, is space debris. There's lots of dead satellites and busted up things that are up in the, orbiting the Earth. And part of this is they have to have a plan for getting rid of their old satellites, replacing them, and one of the things I was reading about is that I guess they have to be constantly replacing them.
Yeah.
So these things will go out fairly quickly, and so they're going to just be launching and pulling them back down constantly.
It seems like air traffic control is going to be the hardest part of this, which is why that simulation that you showed earlier was so crazy, because like it's only that pattern of crisscrossing is like the only way that they could get 4,000 of them in the air without colliding.
Yeah, and then add another 7,500.
And then add in, just like moving or removing and adding other ones constantly. Yeah. That's just a logistical nightmare.
And planning those not to hit existing space debris or things that are already out there, and planning for that in the future. I mean, it's crazy the amount that had to go into this just in planning that out. But yeah, that's the news. So Elon Musk getting approval, essentially 12,000 satellites. The newest approval was the 7,500, but he already had approval for the other ones. So 12,000 satellites going up to create a global internet solution per Elon Musk called Starlink. So you can read all about that at digitaltrends.com. We've got more tech headlines to get to. There's a lot of fun stuff today that we want to talk about, but we do need to do our Read 'em and Weep segment. And this is the segment every day where we take a look at the comments that have come through across our social media networks over the last 24 hours or so. And we pick some of the ones that either the best or the worst. And it doesn't matter because we read all of them. So let's go ahead and go through here. I have not read any of these yet, so I wanted to take a look. All right, Keelan King, regarding Trends with Benefits Facebook portal. So yesterday on Trends with Benefits, which is our weekly roundtable podcast, we actually talked about about the Facebook portal, and we're going to be discussing that here in just a little bit as well. Facebook has done zero to deserve being let into people's homes. RFL. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big concerns about Facebook portal.
I think that's why a lot of people are not going to buy into this, because I'm already sketched out about Alexa and Amazon being in my house.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to let Facebook in, somebody who's like, oh God.
Right. They've had no issues with security or reasons to be concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get that. Yeah, I understand that one. And we'll ask Kim about that as well, because Kim Wetzel's going to be in here in just a little bit with an actual Facebook portal here in studio, and we'll walk through some of the concerns that maybe
Facebook portal sounds so much cooler if you don't know what it is.
Right. Facebook portal. Yeah, but no, it's a camera in your house. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Thank you, Keelan. We've got Brandon Hoover. So Brandon says, regarding the Google Pixel 3 XL review, fingerprints can be wiped off, so who really cares? Stop mentioning that stuff. All right, I'm not really sure specifically.
He was probably talking about just the fact that it's like fingerprint resistant, and they tout that as like a feature now, like on a lot of new nice phones.
Well, no, I can see that though.
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's definitely not essential. I'm with you, Brandon. I use my shirt. It's fine.
That's true. I mean, I'm just happy if I don't have a cracked screen.
Also, yeah, I just don't really care what my phone looks like. As long as it like works, I'm happy.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, Brandon. All right, we get it. All right, let's go on to the next one here. We've got Vince Saar regarding China says it has developed quantum radar that can see stealth aircraft. We're going to be talking about that in about 3 minutes. So Vince says, thank God for the Space Force. They won't be able to do a thing when we attack them from outer space. Yes, the Space Force will be teaming up with Starlink to save us all. I'm sure it's all going to work out well for everybody.
Yeah.
Space Force. Join now. All right. I don't even know how much further I want to go on that one.
I got nothing to say. Space, man, that just brings up a lot of anger in me. I'd rather not get into it.
All right, we'll move on from that one, Vince. And let's go on to our next one, Patty O'Driscoll. That's a fine name.
Sounds lovely.
Patty O'Driscoll. That was a terrible accent. I apologize to everybody for that. I am part Irish. I don't know if that helps. We'll pretend that didn't happen. Regarding Mac Mini 2018 review, wow, you guys certainly know how to act like this horrible deal is all peaches and cream. Huh. The Mac Mini 2018, I mean, just regarding the pricing, is that
I imagine that's probably what it is. It's because everything Apple makes is overpriced, in my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is expensive, and I think that's, but when it comes to a Mac product, aren't they always expensive?
That's par for the course.
Is there any Apple product where you're like, wow, that's a really good deal? That's a hell of a deal right there.
I don't think that's anything we've ever done.
No. I mean, if you're going to buy Mac, you know that you're going to be paying a lot. And, a lot of times the product does back it up, but whether or not you want to buy the Mac Mini, I totally understand. Personally, I don't want one either. I do kind of like the iPad Pro.
I use a Mac Mini. You do? At work here. I like them. They're
okay.
Great.
See? Well, there we go. Do you think it's worth the price?
No. I also use a Chromebook that costs like $300, and it does pretty much the same stuff. Yeah.
You heard it here. The $300 Chromebook does the same as the Mac
At least
Mini.
in terms of like what I use it for.
You can write Drew Prindle at Digital Trends and let him know your thoughts on that. All right, let's go on to our next comment here. Michael King. Regarding China, says it has developed quantum radar that can see stealth aircraft. We have a quantum theme going on today. We're going to talk about this in a minute, and then later on, quantum computing. Is that how you make that sound? It was made in China. Walmart will be carrying it next week. Wow.
And it'll cost $9.97.
Want to pick up some of that quantum radar you guys
Low
got?
price guarantee.
I ordered my quantum radar a week ago. Where is it? Well, that's, again, I don't even know if I want to touch that one or not.
Yeah, probably not.
These are the comments that come through. Like I said, we read them. You wrote them. We read them. All right, let's go on to our next one. Mac Big Batman. I just like saying that. Mac Big Batman.
That's a good name.
Regarding at Digital Trends, winterize your car with these cold weather tips. You have no clue about winter, DT. Wow.
You don't know what it's like to be cold.
You don't know. You've never been there.
I mean, in all fairness, we got one office in Portland. We don't get particularly harsh winters. So,
we don't. That's true.
I mean,
but our New York office does.
Yeah, but they're not, I'm sure this guy's from like
where's
Fargo.
All right, fine. Mac walks 3 miles a day in the snow with bare feet to get to the internet to write this comment. That's what went on there. All right. Well, Mac Big Batman. Sorry, you're right. We know nothing about winter.
Spot on.
Yep. You know nothing. All right. Let's go on to some more tech news. Let's talk about this quantum radar. Let's get into this hot topic here. So, quantum radar from China, and we've got an article up at Digital Trends right now that you can take a look. So it's basically this: at an air show in the city of Zhuhai, a state-owned Chinese defense giant, China Electronics Technology Group Corporation, displayed what it claims to be quantum radar. So I think we need to answer what quantum radar is. Drew, I can definitely attempt to do it.
Okay, yeah. So the way that regular radar works is they basically shoot out a radio wave, and if it bounces back, they can kind of figure out where something is at. And, like, there's something there, essentially. So, like, think about it like a plane.
Yeah.
They shoot, radio waves at it, they bounce back, they can tell something's there. That's why you see, like, current stealth planes, they have all those crazy angles and stuff, and those are designed to reflect the radio waves away and not directly back to, like, the receiver. Quantum radar works in a completely different way. They send... apparently, I don't actually know if this is legit, but like the way that it would work in theory, because quantum mechanics are all ridiculous, but they send two entangled photons or something, and then so one of them goes out and interacts with like whatever thing they're trying to hit, like a plane or whatever, and the other one, even though it's still staying put, it's like entangled with the other one, so they can tell by the way that this one that they've kept is behaving whether or not the other one has hit something.
Right. It's like twins that can feel something, when they
Exactly. It's like that, but like with particles.
Yes. See? Twin theory.
So that's in theory how it would work, and that would overcome a lot of the It would basically make current stealth designs for planes and stuff like that obsolete because you could still detect them. It wouldn't, because it works in a completely different way.
I mean, the idea of that is pretty incredible. To be able to utilize that and what kinds of applications you could have for it. But here's where the issue is. So this was at this air show. And before they would demonstrate it, all foreign press, of course, had to leave. They were removed from the demonstration. And then they just afterwards said, yep, we did it. It worked.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
I mean, that's the thing. You kind of, like, do we just not believe them? Or we kind of just got to assume that they actually have this technology, right?
Yes. By the way, in the chat, I'm noticing people are loving my twin theory. Clearly, that's going to be...
That's actually a really good way of describing, like, quantum computing or just, like, quantum mechanics in general.
Yeah,
Save that for when Matt comes on.
Hit by a bicycle. Yeah, clearly. When we have the actual quantum computer scientist that on, I'm sure he'll appreciate my...
Your analogy.
So basically, we're talking about twins here, right? But anyway, this is what's coming out. So this is what China has said that they have created, and it is getting a lot of traction online. People are very fascinated with the idea of quantum.
I mean,
radar.
it makes you feel like you live in the future. Like,
it does. I think you throw quantum in anything, and it does make it feel like it's the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have got that. We've got a couple other things we want to get to. Oh, here's one thing really quick I just wanted to bring up because I thought this was pretty cool. A cool application that of a major company doing something good. And I know a lot of companies do some really good things, but this was Airbnb, and I just wanted to bring this up. So Airbnb has, I guess, have been utilizing this for a lot of different disasters in that they offer free housing to those who have going through like disasters, who've lost their homes. They did it in a couple of the hurricanes and some other things that have happened, but right now they're doing it for the fires in California, which that's
awesome.
That's a great use. That's somebody, you can say a lot of bad things, about big companies, and obviously, every company has its flaws, but that's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's a good use of technology. And,
it's a homie move.
It is. It is. Drew summed it up perfectly right there. It's a homie move. So they're offering around 2,200 different locations for people to stay if they've been, been displaced or lost their homes in the fire. So very cool. Good job, Airbnb. Just want to give a little bit of credit that way for something like that. All right, Drew, let's get back into our emerging technologies here.
Yeah.
And this may be one that you probably know about. Maybe you even wrote this article. I don't even know. It has to do with Levitate Technologies, which I already like the name. And it's an exosuit. And the key thing about the exosuit is that it's now flame resistant. But what it is, it's maybe you would be best explaining it, actually, because you've tried some of these. I don't know if you tried this one on, but you've tried other ones like this.
Yes, I tried one that wasn't, it was the exact opposite of this. This is designed to, like, basically enhance your strength and reduce fatigue. So it's kind of like this rigid suit that's strapped onto your arms and on your back. And there's little motors and accelerometers that can sense like when you're moving and where your arms are going, and it kind of just like assists them. So if you see this video, this guy is he's lifting his arm up, he's holding a drill. Normally that would get pretty
heavy drill. That would
pretty tiresome after a while, but like because the exosuit is like assisting his motion and kind of holding his arm up, he could do this for hours on end.
That's I like this idea, especially if yeah, especially for physical labor. I mean, I would use it even at home.
The thing is, like, exosuits like this have existed for a while.
Yeah, you've tried some of these on.
Yeah, but the thing is, that one is considerably more compact than a lot of the other ones we've seen. There was one from this company called Fortis, and it was like the first one that came out, and it was for the same applications. It was like factory workers that have to lift heavy things and hold heavy tools for extended periods of time. But it was massive. It was like this whole body thing, you know, big old like tubes and hydraulic pumps around it. It looked like crazy. It was like some what's the Gundam type stuff. It was nuts. But this is just like super slim and integrated. Like it barely took up the guy's arm. Yeah, it was. So that's the impressive part for me, is just the fact that this technology has shrunk down so much.
Yeah, that you can like relatively easily accessible too, because there's no. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no actual power in it, right?
Oh yeah, there is power.
There is power.
There is power, but it's not like actively, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's not giving you like superhuman strength. It's just kind of assisting your regular motion, so it doesn't like you know, stop your arms. You don't have to like fight it to push things up.
Okay, I can't like flip a car over if I'm mad or something.
It just kind of like reduces the weight and the impact that you feel when you're doing routine tasks or lifting heavy objects.
That's pretty cool, and that's called Levitate Technologies. Yeah, Levitate Technologies. So they are already out, but now the flame-resistant ones are going to be for welders, people, working around fire, and they're going to be available in early 2019. I want one just for fun.
Just once again, like flame-resistant exosuits. Like, oh God, flame-resistant exosuits. We got quantum radar and
space internet,
space Starlink.
Starlink.
If you don't think we're living in the future, you're out of your mind. This is
it. This is what we've all been wanting. All right, I've got one more headline I want to cover, and then we've got a very special segment we're going to be doing here on Digital Trends that I think everybody is going to want to see. It involves the man sitting here with me right now. Before we get to that, this is kind of a bit of a preview for our podcast Between the Streams, which is coming up later on today, also a live broadcast where we talk about movies and entertainment, but in particular, how many different streaming networks there are. There are 9 million streaming networks. That's my estimate out right now, and everybody wants to get into the game, and Apple has been trying for quite a long time. And they do have some original content. They just invested $1 billion in original content with hiring stars and you know, big people to be in part of their shows that would stream just on Apple devices. Well, now they've also partnered with A24. A24 is a production company, and if you don't know who they are, they make some incredible movies. Like some movies that you probably had no idea. Lady Bird and Moonlight, which, you know, I've won I don't know how many Oscars or whatever they won. Yeah. 8th grade, Hereditary. If you haven't seen Hereditary, it's a horror movie that is really messed up. Have you watched it?
I have not.
It's worth watching.
All right.
It's one of those horror movies where it's like, okay, this is different enough to stand out from other horror movies.
Doesn't A24 do like pretty much all of the good horror movies that come out like lately? Didn't they do?
The Witch. They did The Witch.
Yeah, that one was good.
They did Ex Machina as well. So they're the production company behind that.
All right, good move, Apple. Yeah. That's you know, I can get behind that. I'll watch stuff if you've partnered with A24.
Exactly. Yeah. So they partnered with them to make original feature-length films, at least, and then there's thoughts that they might be doing television series as well. I mean, you bring that kind of company on board, and honestly, their content, you may not have known the name A24, but they are behind a lot of really popular movies and really good ones. That's a bold move.
I think that's a good idea, too, because that's kind of what has been missing in Apple's previous attempts to make their own content, is kind of this know-how to how to make good TV, really. So now that they're bringing in some people that clearly have expertise in that area, I am a little bit more interested in what they might be putting out.
Yeah, I'm ready to check it out. So I say that, but then am I really willing to go?
You're gonna have to
Apple device just to.
Oh, you're gonna have to pay a subscription fee.
Well, there's thought though. That was one of the things Apple is proposing is they may give the streaming service away for free, but you have to have an Apple device. If you don't have an Apple device, then
that's a pretty good tactic.
Then yeah, you probably there's a way you could pay to get it. But I don't know. That's a bold move. I mean, just be like, yep, you can have it. Although I mean, they have the money to spend on something like that. So even if it's like, say it's $2 billion they've spent on original content, what is that to Apple?
Totally.
You know, nothing.
They got $1 trillion. They can do whatever.
Right, it's like 100 iPhones. So you've got that. So Apple partnering with A24. All right, let's try out something new. We're going to try out a new segment here at Digital Trends.
I'm scared.
It's Friday. Why not? Let's give it a test. And part of what was going on behind the scenes here at Digital Trends is, we've been around for a long time. It's over, 11 years now that Digital Trends has been around? I mean, even I lose track. And we've created a lot of content in that time, and some of it is aged well, and some of it is just a little bit of a different style that DT had. And yesterday in her office on our Slack channel, we were going around taking a look at some old DT review videos, and we came upon this one. And I just want to show a still from this right now. We're going to play a little bit of this video, and it's a segment we're calling Explain Yourself. And Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that a picture of you with duct tape across your mouth?
Yes, it was. I was also duct taped to a pole at the time.
And that is DT's own Caleb Dennison, I believe.
Administering the duct tape, yeah.
At some kind of hotel or pool, or I don't know where, actually. We kind of need you to explain that. Drew, can you explain why Caleb duct taped you to a pole?
As soon as you explained what this segment was, I knew exactly what was coming up. So Caleb was duct taping me to a pole so that he could throw chili on me.
We're in a deposition right now where it's...
Why
was Caleb duct taping
Oh, man. So we basically came up with this harebrained idea to test Never Wet. I don't know if you guys know Never Wet. It came out probably like 5 years ago, and it's that spray that you can spray on anything and it will make it hydrophobic. At the time, this was like a totally new idea. It was one of the first consumer applications in nanotechnology, and I was super excited about it. So we made this really crazy, elaborate video where we basically tortured me in various ways. I highly recommend checking it out, I guess. Oh, God, I don't want you to see it, though.
Well, people are going to see it.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, they're going to see it.
We might as well just refresh it and put it on the front page for today.
I think this is the leading story. We have to get it trending. So why don't we go ahead and play just the beginning of the video. We're not going to play the full review right now. We'll play the beginning of it, just so you can get a taste for this, and then we're going to come right back. Okay, yeah, so the beginning of the video... Yeah, if we could play just a little bit of the audio from this.
Nanotechnology, and it's been getting a lot of hype as a universal waterproofer for everything from clothes to electronics.
All right, so the gag was that we were testing Never Wet, and they had stolen my cell phone and my laptop and
you were the intern in this?
Yes, I was the intern in the video. They'd also stolen my big mouth Billy Bass and never wetted it. And then to test them, they threw them into the pool, unbeknownst to me. I had no idea that they had been waterproofed, so I was, afraid that they were going to ruin all of my electronics. And they did. None of them survived because Never Wet was not particularly effective.
Yeah. And don't worry, we still got more of the video to show too. I am taking a look here just in the chat right now on Facebook. Riley from Digital Trends just said, "Don't worry, Drew. I'll make sure it starts trending." Heading to Twitter now. So follow.
Get me an alert, buddy. Send out a newsletter.
That's going to be trending. So where was this filmed?
It was in Caleb's backyard, I believe.
Caleb has a...
Actually, no. It was Caleb's friend. That's what it was.
Okay.
It was...
dang, Caleb's got a pool like that? I don't remember that.
Why wasn't I invited to those barbecues?
Yeah, where was this pool at?
No, it was one of his buddies' places that we basically took over for an entire day and just ruined because... Okay, so this scene where
This is the cutscene, towards the end of the video where Caleb has duct taped you to a pole. Why was this happening?
Okay, so the second part of the segment was after they destroyed my electronics, they needed to test how well it waterproofed like fabrics. So they spray me down with Never Wet, and then they test increasingly ridiculous things. So the first thing is like a glass of water, and then it's some wine, and then the idea was to do like a water balloon full of chili. And just like slingshot it at my chest and have it explode with beans and everything everywhere. But that didn't work. We figured out that like filling a balloon full of chili was really difficult.
The logistics of that does seem kind of hard. So are you actually duct tape here?
Yes, I believe so. We didn't. There's not an easy way to fake duct tape somebody to a pole. So they really did it.
How long did this part of it take? Was Caleb throwing? How long did Caleb throw things at you?
Probably like a half hour or something like that. It took a while. We had to do a lot of... That was the chili, which we had to like
that
puree.
Is a gross-looking bucket of chili, by the way. That
it's
does not
basically
look like chili.
Blended chili because we tried to get it into the balloon, but like the beans wouldn't fit into the balloon latex thing. So we made it finer, and then tried to use like a turkey baster to get it in there. And then after like, 15 minutes of toiling with this, we were like, this isn't worth it.
Just throw the bucket
just
on it.
throw the pureed chili at me.
Well, that's a video for Never Wet. You can find
man.
that on YouTube and probably on DT's Twitter account pretty soon. Drew, thank you for explaining yourself. Thanks for joining for the headlines.
I'm really honored to be the first. Was that the first?
That's the first.
Oh
yeah.
man,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. Jake, Riley, and I just pretty much created that today. So
Lovely.
Yeah. So this is going to be a recurring segment. So watch out, Digital Trends staff. It's probably not good for me that we're bringing this up because there's some more videos of me too. But there we go. Explain yourself here on Digital Trends. All right, coming up in a bit, we're going to talk more about quantum computing. We have one of the lead curators from D-Wave who's going to be joining us with Matt Smith. And we also are coming back here in just a minute with Kim Wetzel. We'll talk about the Facebook portal, the actual device. We've got it in here. If you have questions about it, now is the time to start prepping those, dropping those into the live chat, and we'll walk through it. We'll see what it does. We'll see if it's following us, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Just stick right here. We'll be right back with more DT Daily. Live here with DT Daily. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Of course, drop your comments, your questions, as I keep on emphasizing on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. And share the videos after you watch them because there's a lot of content that goes up each day after DT Daily is done. We're joined now by Kim Wetzel from our Smart Home Editor.
Hi.
Hello, Kim. Thank you so much for hopping in here. This is the device that everybody's been talking about for quite a while. Out of curiosity, out of... I couldn't say good or bad curiosity, perhaps. Maybe,
yes, absolutely.
When it comes to this. So why don't we walk through what this actually is that's sitting here in front of us?
This is the Facebook Portal Plus. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So Facebook announced that they're going to have their own device.
Yeah.
And, which is an interesting move. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be, from the looks of it, it looked like it was going to be a smart home hub or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And there's two different versions. There's the Portal and the Portal Plus. And this is this is the Plus version, which is much larger than I thought it was going to be.
It's the massive version. I mean, it's bigger than your laptop.
Yeah,
essentially.
it's
huge. I mean, yeah, this is a 15.6-inch screen. It goes this way or this way. If you do the side profile, you'll see that it's got this bulky speaker right here.
And it is really heavy, so it does have a speaker on it. I mean, why don't we walk from the beginning? What is the Facebook Portal supposed to be?
What is it supposed to do? Yeah. It's kind of, I guess it's sort of like a smart display, like a Amazon Alexa device, like the Echo Show device.
Mm-hmm. With the actual screen.
With the actual screen and stuff, except for it does less. So it's like, oh, okay. But essentially, if you are a Facebook lover, you can use this device to make phone calls to your friends, have contact with them. It's kind of like a video calling device. That's its primary function. Let me type in my code here.
Just make sure that's on screen so everybody can see.
Yeah,
the code.
did you see that code, everybody?
Yep.
And then you'll see that I have the option here. Here's some of my friends. Here's some of my favorites. And if I were to tap on one of these, these favorites, I could give them a call and have a video chat with them. Even they have to have Facebook Messenger on their phone.
So this is basically a different version of Facebook Messenger that we're looking at on here, like an adapted version.
Kind of, except it doesn't have the Facebook app on it.
So that's one of the things I was wondering.
So weird.
Like if this is supposed to be like an Echo Show, or I mean, it's essentially a tablet. I mean, it's a giant tablet.
Right.
But you were saying it doesn't do much. So it doesn't have. Can you add apps onto it? Can you watch videos on it?
As far as I know, I cannot add apps. That's another thing.
So it only comes with a certain number.
It comes with, you can see iHeartRadio, Newsy, Pandora, Spotify. I think it does have YouTube, so you can watch YouTube on it. The Food Network. I imagine Facebook will be adding more apps, but I have not figured out how to, there's no Play Store, or there's no,
So they tried to go with their own essentially ecosystem on this.
Yeah.
Without.
And they added kind of a few apps, except for their own.
Yeah. Which
I don't
seems
know.
kind of pointless if you're going to get something like this. I mean, one of the advantages, is customizing it.
Yeah,
what you
absolutely.
want. But they're saying these are the only ones that you can use. And one of the things that I know I've asked you this before, the actual Facebook app isn't available for this.
As far as I know.
There's no Facebook app on the Facebook portal.
Yeah, so if you wanted to scroll through your Facebook feed,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way to do it on this device. So it's kind of neat, and so they sent my mom one. They asked me, who else should we send this to? And my mom is on Facebook all the time. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. And so they sent her one, and we can chat, and she likes it. She's on, like I said, she's on Facebook several hours a day. But if you're not on Facebook several hours a day, and you don't need to call everybody all day, I'm not sure.
What you would be using it for.
Yeah, there's a couple of interesting features. So this is a camera up here, 140-degree field of view camera, and so it does follow you around the room a little bit,
Yeah, because it can track movement.
Tracks movement and focuses on you. So if you walk on, one side of the device, there's the camera right there. You can, it'll kind of follow you around the room. Creepy?
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
I don't
the part
know.
I was. It looked creepy to me.
Yeah.
In part of it, and maybe it's just because Facebook's had a few security issues
Right.
that
Recently.
Yeah, that perhaps
recently.
lends itself to people being a little bit wary
Absolutely.
of that. So it also has a speaker here on the base.
It does have a speaker.
How does it sound?
So I put it next to the new Echo Show. The Echo Show sounds better, but this doesn't sound terrible. I mean,
Okay.
you could play you could play music at a dinner party or when you're cooking or whatever, and it's good enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's Alexa enabled.
It is Alexa enabled. I mean, I didn't turn it off.
Oh, I just turned on. Whoops. So that's
it's
everybody at home is now. Yeah, thank you for saying that. So it's enabled for that. It's got the speaker, and you said that it does. As far as the video call feature, that's kind of the main thing, if I'm understanding correctly.
I think that's fair. It does have the. I thought I turned off Alexa, but she's still going off.
Sorry, that was my bad. I was
Anyway.
wondering.
I was going to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is an Alexa speaker, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to, if you're interested in smart home connectivity, it's limited. You can't view camera footage, for example, on this. So if I were to try to get my Ring or my Nest cameras, footage on here, you can't do that, but you can do that with the Echo Show.
It just seems so weird to limit that functionality on it.
It is weird. And then you have to, in order to use your voice control for the Facebook aspect of it, you have to say, hey, portal. But if you're doing other stuff, just need to, figure out who the 20th president of the United States is, you say, Alexa. So there's two different, ways to voice control it.
So you can't, so you have to think about how you're going to interact with it as far as what the call words are.
Yeah.
Can we try making a phone call with it?
Absolutely.
Or taking that?
Let's see. We got a guinea pig on hold for us.
Okay.
Oh, let me get my
Let's get your code one more time, everybody.
Yeah,
if you want
pay close attention to that. Okay, so let's find...
Again, this already seems like it's kind of, just for me personally, this already seems like it's a pain to use. Okay, so we're calling Dan. Dan works here at Digital Trends, one of our videographers. And let's see.
Oh,
Is Dan there?
hi, Dan. How's it going?
How's it going?
Okay, wait, you can only see the cameras, right? I don't know how we should do this. Hi.
Oh yeah, Dan can only. Well, no, he could probably see our monitors there.
Oh,
But-
probably.
All right, so Dan, are you on a phone right now, or are you on a WhatsApp?
I am on a phone.
Okay, so this just rang through your Messenger app.
Yep.
Okay.
How do we? Sorry, I don't know where to put. Sorry, guys, I don't know where to put the camera. Can you? How do I look? Do I look fantastic?
Yep.
You're such a
Smart man.
conversationalist. So I don't know if the camera is able to like close up, but there is kind of something fun I can do. I can click on effects and I can give myself a werewolf face.
Okay. Wow, with the sounds as well.
I can also. This is one of my favorites here. I can make myself into a disco party. You guys can't see any of this.
Yeah, there we go. Now they can
Okay.
see your disco party.
All right, and then look.
What are you there?
I don't know. Blues brother, blues sister, maybe.
Yeah, I heard somebody just say Walter White, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
That's Heisenberg.
I like Walter White.
So Dan, what plans do you have for this weekend?
This weekend's going to be pretty sports packed. I'm going to watch a hockey game tomorrow and some football, and then I'm going to take my 2 dogs to the dog park.
Sounds pretty awesome.
So this
Cool.
is a sample conversation between Kim and Dan.
Yes.
It's happening every.
Okay, well, well, Dan, we appreciate you being our guinea pig and letting us talk to you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, have
Dan,
a good
thanks.
weekend.
You too.
Bye.
All right. I mean, I can see how that would be. That'd be kind of nice. I can see some of that.
Think
especially
about-
if it's somebody from a long distance away.
If
Catching
think about your I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have like older relatives who are on Facebook all the time? Like I know my mom is.
No, I don't accept those friend requests.
Oh well,
Yeah.
smart thinking.
Yep, I
But-
hide myself from them.
But if you did, I mean, if you're like, I know, like I said, my mom's on it all the time, and so this gives her an easy way to talk to people
Yeah.
and have a little fun with it too.
I can see that as being, I like the idea of it. Well, what's the price on this?
Brace yourselves. This is $349.
See, that's where I'm instantly out.
Yeah.
$349?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I just get like a tablet and stick it on something?
That's what people are saying. People will walk by my desk. They're like, "What? I could do. I have an iPad. I could do the same."
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. In Skype or whatever you're.
Yeah.
They do have a smaller version that's with a 10-inch screen that looks more like the Echo Show, and it is $199.
Okay.
And I do believe they are going on sale for Black Friday. They're doing a bundle, so if you say, oh, I want this device and I want my mother to have one too, or my grandparents to have one too, you can get a discount. I'm not sure what the I'd have to go look it up, but if
Okay.
you are interested in this device, it is on sale for Black Friday for the holidays. Yeah.
Well, and we do have a lot of guides up for Black Friday for all of that as well.
Yes.
All right, that is the Facebook portal. This is the Portal Plus.
Yes.
Kim, thank you for dropping this off. We'll have a full review at digitaltrends.com.
Yes,
I'm sure once you
Monday we'll
get
have
a
it
chance.
up.
Okay,
Take a look.
so coming up very soon. You can check that out there. And again, thank you, Kim, for stopping by. So that is the Portal Plus. You can decide if you want to get that on your own. If you do get one, let us know, because I'm curious, what made you want to buy it, what you would buy it. Looking at some of the comments, it seems like people are not fans. I won't repeat all the comments that are on there, but that's where we're at. All right. DT Daily does continue. So coming up here in just a minute, we're going to be joined by Murray Tom from D-Wave and Matt Smith to talk about quantum computing. We're going to take it from the beginning just to start that interview off. We're just going to give a base level and then talk to them about where this is going, where quantum computing is going, how it's going to affect our lives, and all that's coming up here in just a minute on DT Daily. Welcome back to DT Daily. Drop in your comments and questions across all of our social media platforms as we are live, just like we are every day. I'm now joined by Matt Smith, our computing editor. Hello, Matt.
Hi. Hello, Internet.
Hello, Internets. Thank you so much for joining us and hopping in here today, because I'm really excited about this subject. I know this is something, when it comes to computing, this is what I feel like everybody wants to have happen.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's one of those breakthrough sort of points where if quantum computers can break through to becoming like a somewhat mainstream thing, like it's really going to just...
It'll change the world.
Yeah, it'll be extremely revolutionary. So a lot of people are excited and paying attention to it.
Absolutely. Well, and I think maybe we should bring on our guest right now. So we have the Director of Software and Cloud Services for D-Wave. It is Murray Tom. Hello, Murray. Thanks for hopping in with us.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining. This is such an exciting subject, and I know we're going to talk about D-Wave as well and everything you're doing. Maybe for everybody watching, though, and I feel like this is one of the big things when it comes to quantum computing, is there a way to give a basic explanation to someone who may be familiar with the term but not familiar with how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're wondering, what is a quantum computer, a good sort of base of reference is to think about the computers in our everyday life, like our laptops and our phones. And inside those devices are computer chips, which are doing all of the information processing for us. If we zoom down into the fundamental building blocks of those computer chips, we have transistors, which behave like light switches. And if you just change their behavior so that they can behave quantum mechanically, then it's quantum mechanically in a way that reinforces the information processing you're trying to do. You've made a quantum computer that's different from all of the other computers on the planet.
And so what would that actually look like? It would work a lot faster, when it comes to actual real-world applications?
Yeah, so if you think about it I was actually, just on my walk in this morning, I was thinking about, that familiar children's movie, Mary Poppins. You know how she has that purse and she basically pulls out a lance and an umbrella and all sorts of things out of her purse, like a large rug. Quantum memory has that kind of capacity. It seems very, very small, but it can store a large amount of information. So what quantum computers can do for us, particularly the commercial quantum computers we have right now, is that they can allow us to search enormous solution spaces and obtain answers quickly. So a lot of the customers we've been working with, when they're looking at putting this into applications like optimizing traffic flow or looking at doing material simulation, or if they're doing machine learning, sort of detecting trees and images and things like that, what they're doing is they're casting the problem they're trying to solve as an energy landscape, and then they're using the quantum computers to find the lowest valley or valleys in those energy landscapes. And because the solution spaces are enormous, it takes a lot of compute power to find those lowest points, and that's how the quantum computer is helping in those applications.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a pretty great explanation of why quantum computing is so powerful, and that's why it's something that's very revolutionary, because there are certain problems where we've kind of, there are certain problems where you hit a limit with a classical computer, and
it's this is as far as you can push this.
And it's something maybe that problem is technically solvable, but not in a time frame that is realistic. Like encryption's a classic example that you hear a lot, where encryption kind of works by creating something that's not solvable within a realistic time frame. And then you can say, well, no one's going to crack that. But quantum, makes problems like that a lot easier because it can work so much more quickly. Now, I understand that one of the new things for D-Wave is a platform called Leap. Is that right, Murray? And
yeah, that's right.
So this is something that we've been hearing from a few companies in regards to quantum, creating platforms where people can start to engage with using quantum computers and programming for quantum computers. So can you talk a little bit about Leap and what you're going for there?
Absolutely. So we've designed Leap to be an environment for developers to come in and build and run their own quantum applications. It provides them with immediate real-time access to one of our live quantum computers. And by real-time, I mean they can send instructions to the quantum computer and get answers in seconds rather than minutes or sort of at a scheduled time later in the week. It also brings together a lot of learning resources so that people can get access to the information that they need about how quantum computers work, what kind of problems are applicable to them, and then how do they go about programming, starting with simple examples and building up from there. And in addition to that, it provides forums for developers to sort of form a community where they can learn from the community, but also bring their knowledge to the community and contribute to the kinds of techniques that people are trying so they can compound from each other's experience.
So if someone wants to get started with something like that, with programming for one of your quantum computers, how do they get started? Like, where is the point of entry? Do they go on your website and download an SDK, or how does that work? Yeah, so if they go to dwavesys.com, there's a link to our cloud services to lead the quantum application environment, and they can sign themselves up for it directly there. Once they've signed up by just providing a little bit of information about themselves, they'll see that they get immediate access to the quantum computer, a free minute for their first month. And they can go in and look at illustrated demos on types of problems that they can work on. There are also Jupyter notebooks, which are sort of like interactive programming lessons in their browser, so they can look through work examples and then modify the code and rerun it right in their browser. And when they're ready to build and run their own quantum applications, then they can actually pip install with Python our Ocean open source SDK, and they can basically begin building their own programs in Python locally on their machine, and they can use the minute of access they have to actually sort of prototype their problems out and then run them on the quantum computer. And we've designed the system so that for people who have that kind of interest level and want to start building those applications, they can either sort of take two paths. They can, as they build their quantum applications and they want to get more time on the quantum computer, they can purchase access to the system, or if they're perfectly comfortable open sourcing their code, then they can link to their open source code project and we'll renew that free minute every month.
Wow, so it's a really good way for anybody who does want to get into that, probably both from an educational standpoint, getting used to it, trying it out, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then also perhaps further down the line, applications that you could.
Yeah, I think it's kind of amazing that this sort of access is being provided by companies like D-Wave. This is still technology that's really advanced.
Yeah.
And yet, you can see people starting to get in on learning how to program for it. It's sort of wild because there's not, most programmers are not going to be able to directly access a quantum computer right now. But I guess that's part of the point because, as someone that's making quantum computers, you want to make sure that there's a base of programmers
right. There's people that
there. So when the hardware as the hardware gets available, you want to make sure people know how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, every time that we've ever worked with a customer, we found that they've been able to push and develop the ability to program a quantum computer in new directions, and they've been able to help us make programming the quantum computers more efficient. So in the last 8 years that we've been working with customers, they've developed 100 early applications on the quantum computer. In the very early days, that was a very heavy lift because you were programming in the machine language for the quantum computer itself. But over that 8-year period, we learned a lot of lessons about what were common paths that people attempted. What were the application examples that people tried that worked out well? They were well-worn paths moving in the direction of looking at scheduling and logistics from an optimization standpoint, or looking at machine learning models they could run on the quantum computer, or doing material simulation. So we started to develop the tools to make that easier and more accessible for people. And really, we just need to get these in the hands of more smart people because it's not about quantum devices or a single quantum computer. This is really going to become a new industry for our entire economy. And there's so much more growth to happen in the software space than has ever occurred in the hardware space. It's a very exciting time for people to start getting involved and learn about it. And one last point I'd mention is that part of the reason why I believe that quantum mechanics feels so weird to people is because we never get a chance to interact with it. Nothing in the world at our scale behaves quantum mechanically. And we've designed a programmable quantum system so that people can actually interact with the quantum system and see oh, this is how it behaves. This is how it's reacting. Sometimes you're posing, think about it as when you're sending an instruction to the quantum computer, you're making a little maze with cheese in it. And there's a little quantum mouse running through the maze for you. That's the quantum computer. Sometimes what you want is the cheese. You want the answer to your problem. You want to solve an application. But sometimes what you're trying to do is learn about the quantum mouse. And developers on D-Wave quantum systems get to do a little bit of both.
That is really exciting, just to provide that, kind of revolutionary technology to give people access to that, kind of what Matt was saying, to actually be able to access it. Murray, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Now, you did mention the website, and I just want to say it again. So it's dwavesys.com, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's where people can go and try this out, sign up for an account. I was actually signing up for an account right before we went on
Are you
air.
going to do some quantum programming?
But I want to see it. I want to see.
It's a budding field. You could
right.
get right in on the ground floor.
Sure. Probably not going to work for me. My programming skills aren't there, but I still want to see. I still want to access it, and it's really cool for everybody out there that does want to do that. So Murray, thank you so much for hopping on DT Daily with us today. We appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, and I think that's about it for DT Daily today. Matt, we've had a hell of a show here today.
We're wrapping it up on literally the future of all computing.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go from there?
So kind of a big topic.
Kind of a big topic.
Where do you go from there?
Yeah, I mean, we started off the show talking about Elon Musk's Starlink, his network of satellites. It's going to global internet, which is crazy. 12,000 satellites basically going up. We talked about that. We had Drew kind of explain himself in our new segment where we played one of the old DT Daily videos, or DT
Which
videos.
one was it?
It was the wet one. Why am I forgetting of it? Never Get Wet?
Yeah, the Never Get Wet one.
Never Get Wet
That's
one.
classic.
Yeah. Drew had to explain himself on that one. And then we had Kim Wetzel come in and talk about the Facebook portal.
Which I think looks like an optometrist like machine. Like you go into the eye doctor and you look at it and
like why?
And they show your test results on the big screen.
Right, yeah, and you hope it worked out for you. That's probably an accurate representation of the Facebook portal. It's okay. So the Facebook portal is out, and then of course talking to Murray Tom from D-Wave, and check out everything that they have going at dwavesys.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in to DT Daily. Next week we have a whole slate of shows, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can join us for that. We've got some great interviews coming up, as usual, always live, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Join us, hop in the chat, share the videos afterward. They all go up. Stick around for digital trends coming up today, Friday, noon. We will have Between the Streams with Ryan Juanita, and we're going to be talking about movies and entertainment and everything going on with the world of that. And there's so much to talk about with it, so we will bring you up to date on all of that later today. And for myself, I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with more DT Daily.